way.
Hello.
Yes, I gotta wait for that one to finish. Ah, 2 people watching already. Hello. Hey, Anthony. Greetings. How's my sound? That's good to hear. Anyway, I figure I'd give it a little bit of time, and then I'm gonna talk about some exciting news here. All while hunting Kulve Taroth. Not sure how many people will show up. It's our first official stream, so these things start small. But glad you're here.
Hi.
Yeah, the pursuit ones are already out. I missed it, so I'm just gonna hang out here until the teams get back. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. The joys of online. Um, so there is a slight chance you'll be the only one who shows up. So I'm gonna ask this question: how much do you know about the Gordian Protocol book that David Weber and I have written? Because if it's just you, I don't want to be like telling you a whole bunch of stuff you already know. But there's also a whole story behind it that I can share that I think you'll enjoy. All right. So full story. The full story is forthcoming. I think you'll enjoy it, and enjoy the exciting news at the end. And eventually the other teams will get back and we can do some hunting. But for now, I'm just sort of chilling. He grabs popcorn. Nice. All right. Well, it's past 7, so I think I can start laying the groundwork here. So this story starts. Oh, geez, probably back in 2014. I had. Was it 2014? 2014, 2015. I had written the initial manuscript for Humanity Machine. And I had actually, Heather and I, we met David and his wife Sharon, and we, through a series of meetings, became really, really good friends with them. And I showed David the manuscript, and he liked it. And so he put me in touch with some people, and I had submitted it. And a year and a half later, the manuscript was rejected. And so I'm like, oh man, I've waited all that time, I'd foregone the self-publication route. And yeah, bummer. But trust me, this story has an upswing. Yeah, I went to David and I said that, okay, I know you would like this manuscript, and I was wondering if you would read through it and do like a detailed edit and just tell me where I need to grow as an author. And he said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. He had said he had to find time in his schedule, but he would do it. So this is now February 2016. And we're out to dinner. We're at Chili's. And I think it was actually Heather's birthday that we were celebrating, because David gave her an ARC for one of the, an advanced reader copy for one of the Safehold books. And I again thanked David for his willingness to spend some time and to help me grow as an author. And he developed this very curious look on his face, and I had never seen that look on his face before. And we had known each other for a few years at this point. I'd never seen that face on him. And it was this kind of lopsided smirk. And then he said, "I think we should write a novel together." And of course, my jaw hit the floor. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he said, I have a story that I've wanted to tell for a while. It's one of the original proposals that he made for series to Baen Books. The most well-known being the Honor Harrington series. There were like 10 different proposals that he made. And of course, Honor Harrington has gone on to be very successful. That's the one that Jim Baen went with initially. And I think Honor Harrington has sold over 7 million copies. Just fantastically successful series. But he had this one time travel series. It's like, hey, this is a story that I still want to tell. So I'm like, I am totally on board with this, David. Yes, sir. Please let me help you write this story. And the funny thing is that, and he didn't know it at the time. I've since told him this, but I once swore to myself that I would never write a time travel novel. I've certainly done time manipulation, but never time travel before this, and it was something that I was very reluctant to set out as, you know, as a story that I would want to tell. Of course, when, you know, New York Times bestselling author David Weber says, "Hey, I'd like to write a time travel novel with you," it's like, "Sir, yes, sir." Right, yeah. Time Reavers is a good example of you know, the time manipulation, but it's not time travel. And you know, I'd always been very concerned about writing a good time travel novel, which is one of the reasons why I said, you know, I never want to do one, because they're hard to do well, in terms of making sure that everything's consistent, that you don't leave these kind of like glaring holes. It's like, well, why didn't the heroes just do this? Once you give the characters the ability to travel through time, that's a very, very powerful tool. And so it's perfectly valid for the reader to say, well, you've given them this ability, why didn't they do X, Y, and Z to solve this problem? So some more time went on, and I started working on some brainstorming for the book. And we kind of rendezvoused again. David had a whole bunch of projects that he needed to work on. And we kind of rendezvoused again later that year, either August or September 2016. And let's see. And David's response was to boom. Oh, buffering, can't hear. All right, so the sound isn't coming through well.
Oh, hello.
Oh, okay. Can you give me a frame of reference where you left off? And I'll try to fill you in again. Bring the pain with this. Someone's excited. All right. So we met again, and David's initial reaction was to the time travel rules I'd come up with was to basically make an exploding head gesture. And I'm like, oh dear, what have I done? Part of it was that he actually wasn't feeling well at the time. He was very, very overworked. He was having some health issues, and he was struggling to meet certain deadlines. Basically, I think he was working himself sick at that point in time. But he gave me some additional direction, and there were certain ideas that I had come up with. He's like, he latched onto, and the more he thought about them, the more positive he became.
There it is, at last. Reminds me of that time. Now get out there.
And so oh man, playing and talking is going to be difficult. I'm going to do the best I can here at both.
See you around, buddy.
But
You can do this.
what he gave me in terms of the actual planning of the novel
I'm ready.
was almost complete free reign on the design of the two 30th century factions that would appear in the novel. All right, I got that one. And that was just a really awesome move on his part. And of course, I went to work putting together the best background material that I could. And initially, when I had my initial set of notes together, I was like, this may be a little too out there, a little too crazy. I was thinking that David would want me to kind of tone in the crazy, but he was actually very supportive. And there were a lot of things in those initial planning stages that he really liked. That he said he wouldn't have come up with something like that, and that's one of the things that is great about collaborations, is that you're both doing things that you normally wouldn't do. And it really gave me a lot of confidence to kind of take it forward and make that background material as good as I could. And so crafted the background. He did a lot of like the alternate history, and I did the tech and the 30th century factions, and it was just really like a chocolate and peanut butter. I think it really came together well. And he did the first he did the kind of primary plot outline, and I expanded upon it. He wrote some chapters, and then I did a lot of the subsequent writing, taking his am I too far right here? Oh, good. We're already moving to phase 2.
Ready?
So anyway, that went really well. At least, I did a lot of the writing, kind of, took his notes, added to them, took his, initial chapters, and wrote my chapters. And really didn't have any supervision along the way. In fact, we had one business meeting before I was about to start the writing, and he asked me, "Do you have any questions?" I said, "Well, David, between the 20,000 words of background material that you've written, the 20,000 words of plot outline that you've written, the 10,000 words of outlining that I've done, and going on and on like that. Like I think I've got this, David. I think I got enough to get me going here." And so the next time that he saw the book, the first draft was complete. I'd done all of my portion of it. So of course I was like really nervous when he when I handed it over to him. Oh man, is he going to like what I did here? And he loved it. There was there was one part in particular where I had killed off a character, And this is a character that I didn't, well, a group of characters actually, and I didn't think that it would be a big deal if I killed those characters. And of course, I'm speaking in generalities. I don't want to spoil anything. There weren't anything in the notes that told me, hey, these were characters to leave alone. So I was like looking at the plot. I was like, well, the best way that I can get from point A to point B is to kill these characters for plot reasons, and also because it would be sad. And so I took him out. And one of the things that David said is that, yeah, I was expecting to keep those characters around for sequels. I'm like, oh no, shoot. but he said that, let me I'll play around with the story, and you know, I'm thinking about, you know, making some changes here. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, you go right ahead, because there was so much that he liked that I was like, oh yeah, you make whatever changes to that section you want. I'm perfectly fine with it. I get the next draft back, and he made the deaths even more heartbreaking. It was so awesome. And he actually, when he was done going through that second draft, he actually told me that killing off those characters was the right choice. And that was like, it was huge to hear, because I mean, David has been such an inspiration to my writing, and you know, I took some chances. You know, I mean, I was of course working off of his outline, working off of his notes, and trying to be faithful to it. But you know, it doesn't tell you everything, and you know, there are places where I'm, you know, filling in the gaps and kind of, you know, using my own sense of judgment. And so, you know, I hand it over, and you know, there's the cold sweat moments. It's like, oh, what is he gonna think? But he was really supportive, and so we got the first draft done, and he submitted it to Bane, and the initial feedback was positive, and then we kind of didn't hear anything for a while. One of the things that I've had to learn is that the publishing industry moves at a different pace than what I'm used to in a more engineering, project-oriented field. And so I have to sometimes be patient. Oh man, they already got her down. Good. So 2 points. So we got some additional feedback. Oh, where was it? It was earlier this year. Either late first quarter. Yeah, exactly. I definitely used to, you know, kind of a faster pace with projects, but it's a different industry, you know, and I have to, you know, I'm the newcomer, so I have to kind of respect how the people that are currently in the industry do business and kind of adapt to their methods. So we got the the more detailed feedback, and then there were a number of changes that were requested, and Dave and I we went through them, and they really made the novel even stronger. We thought it was we both agreed that it was a strong novel to begin with, but it just the edits just made certain parts of the story sing, I guess is one way to put it, and kind of clarified some things that, you know, when you're working on it, there can be interpretations that you're not entirely, you're not going to see. It's like trying to see the forest from the trees, and sometimes, you know, as the author working on it, you're kind of buried in the details. But we made those changes and we handed it in. And next thing I hear, oh hey, we got an artist lined up to do the cover. I'm like, that is awesome. So the cover is being worked on for the Gordian Protocol, and let's see, David thinks that it will be a release somewhere in the second half of 2019, but we still have to wait for the official word from Bane. They have to fit the release into their schedule. One of the things that was sort of missed it and got hit. Talking and fighting at the same time. Nah, I'm not gonna make it there. I don't know. I think for me, I don't really have a frame of reference for how they their release schedule is handled, and David certainly has a lot more experience than I do. So I kind of defer to his judgment. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, that didn't work out well. Let's get my health back up and run. Try to help out the party. Man, I just kind of got comboed to death there. Yeah, double whammy. But, let's get down here. Run. Uh-oh, we're on our last life. It's not looking good. So make sure I get my defense up. Yes, so got the release schedule upcoming. We've got cover art inbound, and the other thing is the really exciting news. So after we started kind of going over the cover art with the artist and kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, David went to Bane. It's like, so, what do you guys think about a sequel? And they're like, yeah, we can roll with that. So David and I have already started working on the sequel. to the Gordian Protocol. And I'm getting flambéed here. Roll, 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 roll. I don't know if we're gonna break the horns this time. Get out of the way! Oh, that was really close there. But yeah, I am super excited about the sequel. We have we've already started the brainstorming for it, and we had some ideas kind of at the end when we finished up the first one, but we've been kind of already brainstorming and fine-tuning those ideas, and oh, level 14. I wonder if someone already broke the horns. Another group might have already done it. I might have missed that. What was it? Yeah, the ideas for the next one. So the way we leave off at the end is by design open-ended, so there are a lot of different possible stories that we can tell. I mean, you've got time travel, you've got a multiverse setting. There are a lot of different things that you can do with that. And we've got a pretty pretty exciting second act that we've been working on. Ooh, water. So not really the best start to, at least for my performance, best start to the Kulve Taroth farming today, but it'll do, it'll do. I got a rarity 8 weapon out of that, not too bad. So let me ask you, Anthony, are you excited about more time travel novels in the future? Because I know I am.
How's the hunting?
One of the things that I think David and I got right with the Gordian Protocol is the time travel system.
Hello.
And I can't really talk too much about it without spoiling aspects of the story. So me and my brother played with alternate dimensions, but never time travel. Yeah, I mean, time travel is, like I was saying earlier, it is tricky to do right. I don't think it's, tricky to do, but I do think it's tricky to do right. And I'm really happy with the rule set that we've come up with for the novel. And I think it's well designed and robust and will stand up to scrutiny for people Yeah, well, one of the things that that Star Trek does a lot is
There it
the
is.
reset
At
button.
last.
You know,
Reminds
it's like,
me
well,
of that time.
we had that
Now
stuff
get out there.
happen in the episode, but we're gonna reset all that. So their system certainly works, I think, you know,
See you
for
around,
the
buddy.
kind of storytelling.
You can do this.
Yeah, I think
Over here.
Heather and I are gonna look at seeing if there's
I'm
anything we
ready.
can do to lower the latency. Where is there? There she is. Hits in here. Yeah, I'm not too certain what's causing the latency, but that's something that we can certainly look into. There might be some Twitch configurations that we have to play with. Not entirely certain. We're still learning all this. Let me get buffed up here before I forget. Take my drugs. Yeah, yeah, I did enjoy you know, Back to the Future, though. I always had certain questions about the that time travel system, but I think for what they did with it, I think it worked very well. But I'm not saying that what David and I has is unique, because there's just so much material out there, but I can safely say I haven't encountered a system exactly like it. That what we created is, at the very least, original to me. And it, let's see if I can get there. Yep, got it. Yeah, exactly right. Yay, second viewer! So where's Kulve now? I think I heard her this way. Yeah, there she is. I think I'll take the high ground. Get ready to drop some boulders. Oh, someone already broken the gold plating. Very nice. Hits it. Kulve is mad.
You ready?
It's like, stop hitting me in the head. What do you people want? Is anyone there? Yep. Maybe you need to warm up a little bit. Alright. Let's sharpen.
Proceed with caution. All right.
That's not there. Alright, let's see if we can break some parts. Uh-oh. It's hot here. Ah, there we go. When the molten gold breaks, it's so juicy. I like it. Of course, if that was real gold, man, can you imagine how heavy that would be? That's just... I don't care how strong this monster is, I don't think she's going to be able to move that much gold around. Broken every part. Things are going well. So anyway, Anthony, this is Q&A. So, is there anything you'd like to ask? Any? Yeah, the Kulve Taroth always flop. And the Kulve Taroth sauna. Anyway, is there anything you'd like to ask? Otherwise, you know, I can certainly talk about other things, but there's a certain direction you'd like the conversation to go in. I can certainly see if I can. All right, I shall wait for you to grab them. Got a good crew this time. Got a hunting horn player helping us out. Gotta love the hunting horn players. So I may be biased because I do play hunting horn as well.
Somewhere.
Sharpen while I'm at it. Not seeing a lot of... I mean, not really seeing any. Oh, there's one. You mean for the different ages? In terms of like the deep history timeline? I mean, I do have I do have a, you know, in terms of my personal notes, I do have like the overall sequence of like major events in the kind of deep history of the series. But one of the things that I did sort of on purpose was, you know, there isn't like, oh, it's, you know, year 3000 or year 4000 or whatever. I've kind of kept those things ambiguous, at least at this point, in writing the series. And I didn't want to really like. Oh, okay. I'm getting signaled. Gotta move it. Gotta try. Did I forget to? I did forget to take my cool drink. All right, got it. Am I gonna get the? Sorry, I will get to your question. Just got a big monster to fight. So I did want to keep it, you know, a little bit ambiguous as to how far in the future it was, and for there to be detachment between our present society, our present level of technology, and the setting itself. Because there are certain aspects that are potentially anachronistic, at least in kind of my view on what a futuristic society would be. And by having those big disruptive events, you know, like the you know, the wars that kind of threw humanity backwards in development, that kind of gives me wiggle room, you know, I think, as a storyteller, to include certain elements and exclude other elements, because it's not a linear progression from our present society to the one depicted in the books. And I guess another way to think of it is, you know, it's a way for me to cheat as an author. And be like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to accurately predict where our present society is gonna go, so I'm just gonna throw in some really big battles and yeah, cheat codes. Some really big destructive battles that kind of throw humanity backwards, and I include not one but two in the history of the Dragons of Jupiter, just to, you know, play it extra safe. And so that's why I'll probably never have a really specific, you know, this happened on this year, this happened on that happened on that year, timeline for the Dragons of Jupiter. I think keeping it a little ambiguous from a storytelling perspective is probably more advantageous. Did I answer your question?
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, I mean, anything's possible, and there may come a point while, you know, once I find the time in my schedule to work on, you know, the second Dragon's book and the third, that may even become necessary. That I would need to craft that portion of the history in detail rather than the kind of more general sketch of the deep history that it is right now in my notes and in the novel itself. So as I learned with, you know, working with David on a time travel novel, never say never. And, you know, a lot of things, I am very much a planning-oriented author, but there are a lot of things that come up in the writing process that do surprise me, and that are things that get implemented kind of in the moment. The skeleton, you know, is certainly there, like when I'm writing a novel, in terms of the underlying structure. But if you're talking about, like,
at last,
you know, individual scenes and whatnot, sometimes,
now get
you know,
out there.
things just crop up that day, you know, and, yep, got the hit. Got the side of her. And I mean, Dragons is, it is a project that I do want to finish. It's just, and I know this is, you and a lot of other people have asked for the sequel, and it's, you know, as I've answered before, it's certainly one that, you know, I feel passionate about and I do want to write. As far as the short term, the stories that, you know, I think are best for me to tell are the ones that David wants to work with, for two very important reasons. One is from a growth as an author. Yes, you make a point to ask out loud. One is, you know, as a, you know, to grow as an author, by working with David and being able to learn from him, I'm able to, you know, grow as an author and to improve my craft. And this is something that is tremendously valuable to me, and I am super, super grateful to David for giving me this opportunity. And I'm stuck in a wall. Let me get unstuck and moving here. And I should buff before I forget. Get my drinks in. And the other aspect is from a career standpoint. Because, let's face it, a book with both David's name and my name on it is going to sell better than a book with just my name on it. And by writing more books in this series with David, I'm able to reach a larger audience and show them, you know, let them get a taste of my style. And of course, you know, it's not just mine. There's a lot of David in the Gordian Protocol too. But I think, you know, as I said before, it's very much a peanut butter and chocolate combination where the two styles, I think, really mesh well together. So, Dragons is a book that I, the Dragons of Mars, which is the tentative title for the second book, and the Dragon Revenant, which is the tentative title for the third book, are definitely stories I want to tell. I just got to get to them in my copious amounts of free time. Missed it. Part of it, oh man, we've already lost one. Part of it, is just with the, there's always so much, that we're working on, and that I want to work on. And last year was a very challenging year. It's been some time since I have seriously picked up DOJ. Is there a detailed area that explains the Crusader armor? I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. I don't think there's any particular area that goes into the level of detail that I have in my notes. Yeah, I definitely think that I have, more off-page information than what appears in the novels, in the novel itself. And so is there a specific question about the armor that you were wondering about? Missed again. Well, it's, I wouldn't say it's a jumpsuit per se. It's more of a kind of muscle layer, artificial musculature, that's between the outer armor and the Crusader wearing it.
Show us how it's done.
Oops. Me. Yeah, I got 2 hits in there. And she's been put to sleep. Wyvern's fire knocked me over. Oh, man, I missed that jump. It is connected. So there are multiple layers, but it is. I mean, it can be, mechanically separated. It's not like they're inseparable. But normally, right. But normally, if they're not like being maintained, good job, team. They'll be connected. Yeah, I mean that's that's certainly one thing, one way that it can happen. Though the suits can be gotten into when they're fully assembled. But you can put on one layer and then have the armor be placed on top of it. And ooh, I just thought of something. It can actually be kind of stripped down to its bare essentials that way. I don't know if I would ever have a story reason to use that, but I could. See, you just helped me come up with an idea. That was a good hunt. The let's see here.
It's so good to see
The
you.
only artwork that we have that we commissioned from Robert Chu just shows the kind of front aspect. Oh, what do we have here? Taroth Assault Support and Taroth Pipe Paralysis. Interesting. Not the one that I was going for, but it's still a rarity 8 weapon. I'll take it. So yeah, there's the cover art, of course, and there is another piece of artwork that Robert did for us. But it's also it's kind of shows the armor from the same aspect ratio. Kind of a little to the side front view of it, and it just, you've probably seen it where it just has some Crusaders lined up, just letting their Gatling guns rip, and the barrels are glowing hot, and it's a really good piece of artwork. It might. Oh, wait a second. There was there's one piece of artwork that Robert did when he, as kind of a pre before he started working on the cover. He did a just kind of a standing pose, and I'm trying to remember if that I think it has a pretty good shot of the front of the armor, and I'm trying to remember if it had a picture on the back. But if you go on to the Holo writing website, in the articles where we talk about the cover art as Robert was making it. I think one of those articles has this kind of has that pre-cover art on it with just the Crusaders standing. It's been a while since I've looked at it, but that might offer a better view of certain parts of the armor.
Hi.
I'll just wait for someone else to post. And someone just posted.
Oh, hello. Yeah, that hunting horn looked interesting. I might have to try that out because you can unlock its paralysis. That would be interesting to try. I was really hoping for the new hunting horn. I think it has sleep on it. But that one, I think it had defense up, so probably a good one to try out a bit. I'll have to take a closer look at it once the hunts are done
There
today.
it is, at last. Reminds me of that time. Now get out there.
There she is.
See you around, buddy.
You can do this. Over here.
I'm ready.
Sorry to hear that. Well, that's all the artwork that we have. Oh. Thunder. Wow, this is a good party. You know, honestly, I'd have to, oh, dang it. I'm on the wrong side. I'd have to, take a look at the cover art again to refresh my memory. Because I know that Robert's artwork does kind of differ from my own personal, like, internal mental picture of the armor. And I want to make sure that I'm not confusing the two. Hey Heather, do you have a copy of Dragons that you could grab for me? Good party this time. Alright, I can take a look at the cover while I'm... Yeah, there are, well, the chest itself, I mean, there are a few different pieces that go together in Robert's design, like the shoulder pieces, the kind of lower waist. Let's see there. Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. But like the chest itself, like the main body of it, is one piece. If that makes sense. Sleep bomb here, and then I'll take another look at the picture. I think you're right, though. Yeah, you're right there. That's how it works. Now, one thing where Robert's design differs from the depiction. I don't know if I'm ever this specific in the books, but it's a book. There aren't books yet. You wish there were. A lot of people wish there were. I wish there were, but book singular. Is that the muscle layer is fully enclosed by the armor plating. In kind of my, in my notes and in how I visualize it when I wrote. But from an artistic standpoint, I think Robert's depiction works very well. Oh, that was lucky. But I'll take it. Oh, she's burrowing. One of the things that I've really enjoyed doing when working on cover art with the different artists is that I'll provide, Heather and I will provide kind of the boundaries, I guess is one way to put it, of the artwork in terms of here's what it has to, portray, here's, how we represent things in the text, but we also make sure to give the artists room to let their own individual styles breathe through. And I think that's one of the places where you can see that is like where, in my mind, the armor fully encloses the kind of muscle suit layer of the Crusader armor. But in Robert's depiction, the kind of underlying musculature, the kind of gray-black layer is visible. And I think that when we give that that leeway and that respect to the artists, that we get better art. And study of it appears to be 3 pieces total for the body. Back piece connects to the shoulder straps. See, that's what I get for trying to. I should probably concentrate on fighting this thing. I'm peeking at the art cover in the copy that Heather brought me. But yeah, I think you're right. No, it's perfectly fine. This is casual hunt and chat. We're here to have fun. And I'm having fun, and I hope you're having fun too. Oh, that was close. And that was a hit. Alright, let's get over here. These guys are anxious to drop some more stalactites. Oh good, I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Proceed with caution.
Wonderful, get the a release. We probably will with this group. They're doing a really good job. I need to back away and sharpen. Yeah, it's mostly the joints, and you can see it in the joints. You can see it, I like the. Oh, that was just mean. I had my back turned and everything. Oh. I somehow touched that. I just ran for it. And somehow slipped under. But yeah, you're right. 'Cause he does, he depicts it as more being like plates strapped over the muscle layer. Whereas, in my mind, it's more of a mechanical attachment. It's a full enclosure. Well, the boots, they gotta be, You mean in the artwork, or kind of in my head? Oh, there's another one there. I mean, in the I think he I think oops. Okay, time to head back. Oh, there are more. Oh, one. I'm the only one that hasn't returned to base. I gotta head back. I mean, in terms of what they need to do in the fiction, they have to allow the Crusaders to move at speed in low gravity, so that kind of adaptable adherence is something that's required. Yeah, I think that his artwork is certainly more reminiscent of that style of boot. Whereas, in my head, it's a full, there aren't like separate pieces to it. It's like a full assembly, and it locks into other parts of the armor, or at least allows plates to, interlocking plates to flow over it. More like full plate mail, like medieval plate mail. I think would be a way to think of it. Though obviously with very, very fancy soles to allow them to maneuver in the different kinds of environments that they need to. Let's see here. Has anyone posted? All right. I think where you can see Robert's style most pronounced are in the helmets, and that's actually what kind of his different helmet designs in some artwork that he had posted on DeviantArt is what drew me to his art style. And he was actually initially a little bit hesitant to include that particular helmet design. But fortunately, we talked it over, and I'm like Robert, I really like this helmet design. I really like it to be on the cover. And he's like, okay. And I think it's his particular flair with the kind of armor designs, and I really like it. I really think it's eye-catching, and it goes great on the Crusaders. Really like what he did there.
There it
Suit
is.
level 4. Let's do
Blast.
this.
Reminds me of that time. Now get out there.
See you around, buddy.
You can do this. Over here.
I'm ready.
Nope, wrong one. Huh. That was odd. Did you see that? Sorry, I was preoccupied with Kulve Taroth, and I think there was some teleporting that just went on. I'm in the wrong place. So shin, armor cover, top of the foot, and assault. Yeah. I think that's what he's got going. All right, coming this way, getting ready to drop some boulders. Alright, good phase 1.
You ready?
Got another set of boulders there too. Guess I think those hit her. I got a good feeling about this group.
All right.
We're already making her burrow. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think actually, in how Roberts depicts the artwork, depicts the armor, that the thigh, the knee, and the shin armor are separate pieces, and the same thing with the the two arm pieces. They're I don't think they're depicted as being connected. I missed.
Watch yourself.
Good work, Vipers.
Yep,
Now
you're
get
right.
out there and show us how it's done.
Oh, here she comes. And just so you're aware, Anthony, there is yet another piece of distraction going on. Our cat Nova has decided to sit in my lap. So I am now splitting my attention 3 ways. And I'm on fire. Alright, team, we've got this.
Oh dear.
Got the notes.
Watch yourself.
Oh yeah. And I got to hit the brakes, the horns. Nice. That felt good. Good job, team. Good job. Ah, sublimated weapon. Maybe I could get a good one from that. We'll see. Get all the shinies. Everyone's running around looking for shinies. What, did I see one over there? Yeah, though I think that would be, it would be challenging to make that work. One, given how large audiences can get on Twitch, and two, the kind of latency that there seems to be prevalent. I think the voice might be might be something that they would have trouble working in. All right, let's see what we got. Got strong arm thunder. Huh. Not what I was looking for, but yeah, I'll still take it. Alright. Well, I think that's all the hunting I'm going to do today. I got a little bit of cleanup to do here. Actually, I'll probably switch to my standard configuration. Anything else you want to talk about before I sign off? Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glad you got some good information. So, yeah, some exciting stuff coming around the corner. Wish it was all happening sooner, but you know, this industry moves at a different pace. But it's coming. All right. Well, Anthony, it was good chatting with you, and you take care. Later, man.